Oh, good. We've got a lot of people in the room already. If you guys could do me a favor right now, sorry, I'm getting in place here. Right now, chat is enabled. So I need somebody to let me know that they can hear and see me okay. It should be a much better quality video this time around. And if somebody could just let me know, there's a little delay, that you can hear and see me okay, that would be great. Hey, Jack, I see you. There are private messages right now, guys. We found that when we make all the messages public, we have an issue with the quality of, it messes up the webinar. Chase says yes. Jack says see and hear. That's awesome. All right, guys, what I'm going to do real quick, and you guys kind of know the drill. Wow, we're getting a lot of people checking in. Thank you, guys. Interaction is going to be really important, something I want to put out there. I'm going to stop right now. I'm going to go ahead and stop the chat for just a second. Okay, there's a couple things I've got to cover. And thank you so much, guys, for your feedback on that. And something I wanted to say was interaction is everything. This is community. This is an opportunity for guys to ask questions that other people haven't asked. I'm going to give you a really quick example of an evening. Jeff remembers this, I'm sure, where we had a webinar and somebody said, that's great. It's good to know that. I had a case, but I probably still couldn't have worked it anyway. I put it to the side as a can't work file because the person was in jail. And I said, why aren't you working it? They've got a notary in the jail with that person. Also, most people in jail have a power of attorney to a family member that handles their finances that they can provide. That's a recorded power of attorney. In addition to being able to get the signature from the actual person. Guys, somebody going to jail, unless they owe restitution, that's not going to keep them from making money. It's just not. They're allowed to do that. How many times have you heard about famous authors that authored their first book in jail? There's a lot of them out there. So that's the kind of thing that comes up in these type of community interactions that we have. And when we had that, the comments, some of you guys are probably here, it was years ago, but the comment section just blew up where people were like, oh my God, I had 3 cases that I threw away because of that. I had 5, I had 4. We kept on getting this where by the end of the night, Jeff and I were like, we probably made people $1 million tonight. I mean, seriously, just because the sheer number of people that had thrown people out because they were in jail. So real quick nugget there. I'm going to do a very quick overview of our programs. You're always free to go to surplusfundsriches.net. If there should also be, let me make sure it's available. All right, there should be an offer available where you're seeing it that's actually a link to our webinar specials this evening. We typically do not do webinar specials, all right? But that link will take you to that page. And right now, we're selling 2 different programs that we never break out by themselves, ever. I think we did Florida January 1st for like 5 minutes. And then every other year we do it mid-year, which is where we're at. Florida by itself, this is just the Florida surplus. Normally you have to buy the best bundle for $847. That has Florida surplus, Florida deed flip, national surplus, national deed flip, and the North Carolina program for $847. It's a fantastic deal. And that deal is also on this page, best bundle. But for those of you guys that want just Florida or just North Carolina, tonight's it. We're going to sell 5 of them. I would click the link now and buy it. We'll let you know as we go how that, how it goes, because that's probably going to be gone in about 10 minutes. No kidding. But it'll be Florida remote by itself for $597. We never offer this by itself. Sometimes January 1st. And then mid-year every other year. So that's a screaming good deal, $597 for Florida just by itself, Florida remote. Really quickly, the reason Florida is a separate state, the statutes are so different, but as a researcher, there's a lot of benefits to folks that are just, especially those of you guys that are just getting into the business. The Florida remote or Florida overage program covers mortgage and tax overages, really easy to get listed in Florida. The other thing is Florida is so easy to work that instead of really having a lot of video attached to that particular program, it's mostly screenshots because it's that easy to work. Florida is the only state we know of that actually publishes the title work that they do before they actually hold the foreclosure. What does that mean? That means your research is done for you. We pay 10% of the gross instead of 8% because our best attorney on the planet is an ex-Navy JAG down in Florida. He handles the entire state for us. He's the best attorney we've ever had. We have probably, and I'm not exaggerating and I'm not bragging right now, but we probably have had, and I kid you not, we have probably written about 25% of the statutes because of cases we've had with this attorney on overages in Florida. I'm not kidding you. I mean, that's how good this guy is. He's the kind that'll call me and go, I think there's a workaround on this. We've run into this before, but I think I can, it's the right court, it's the right timing. I think we can get this thing done. Are you willing to take the risk? And I'll take it. So we're a whole different level down there with this guy. We pay 10% instead of 8% of gross to the researcher. All you're doing is research. You don't call the people. You're just researching debt and ownership. It's actually on the tax side. It's done for you. They publish that online. You're literally taking that, putting it on the worksheet and sending it in. It's just crazy. The other cool thing about Florida, I think it's tax overages. There's a time period where if there are other creditors, those creditors have a limited time to claim, and if they don't, they're kicked out. No other state does that either. So Florida is really good about giving lists. They're the best state about giving lists. Honestly, they really want to give the money back when you're running a no problem with Florida. And again, we're just crazy streamlined. That's $597. We're selling 5 of them. If you click the link for the offer, you'll see it. Selling 5 of them at $597. Then we're done. Okay. I'll probably bring it up again as we sell if we're down to like the last one or something. The other one we're selling is North Carolina deed flip. You guys know, it's actually North Carolina Flip Master, I believe. You guys should know by now that is our highest converting state for the deed flip. It's a separate system. It's usually only available in the Best Bundle. Best Bundle is still up there and open on that link, $847. But you can get that by itself for $497. Couple of reasons why North Carolina is so hot. We have a really weird loophole. Okay. Really weird loophole. We have 10-day upset bids here. Somebody hits the bid at an auction, mortgage or tax. The next bidder has 10 days to show up and make that bid. So what these guys do, the investors in North Carolina, is they screw with each other. They make an offer 9 days later to drive this guy nuts, right? Meanwhile, the owner's been notified and told, hey, the bid's been hit. You need to get out of the house. We've seen this stuff go up to a year past the auction date with people just trying to outbid each other. Typically, it's 3 to 6 months, but we've seen it up to a year. Keep going. Meanwhile, the owner's been told the property has sold, even though it hasn't. The county basically says, your property's gone. They hit the bid, get out. And they think they've lost the house. I can get in touch with them. I can still make the deal. Okay. During this upset bid period, again, it keeps getting reset. During all these periods, I can go in, I can pay off the taxes. I can get the deed from the owner, record it. Now I'm the owner. I have the right of redemption. I can redeem the property by paying off just the taxes. That I then, after I've recorded the deed, paid off the taxes, I can let the owner stay for a month, an extra month if they're still in the house. If not, just pay them out completely and flip the property as is. Whereas the other benefit is obvious. We are located in North Carolina. If it's in North Carolina, actually North South Carolina, just parts of Georgia. Anyway, mostly North Carolina. If it's in North Carolina, I'll go and knock on the door if they're on the fence. I'll go talk to them. I recently did that. Jeff and I were just having a conversation. A house just around the corner, about 14 minutes from where I live. But I'll go hours away from here. Jeff will tell you, I went up to High Point and Hickory not that long ago. I've been up in the mountains looking at stuff. I've been at the beach. North Carolina is a great opportunity. We still don't have sharks going after stuff pre-tax foreclosure or mortgage foreclosure as much as other areas, which surprises me. We are way ahead of the curve on that, guys. So what I'm going to do, I'm really not going to go into the other programs, because if you go to surplusfundsriches.net without the webinar this offers on, just .net, and you click on products, you can actually scroll down. You can see all the products we have, and there's a lot. We've been doing this a long time. You can scroll down to the very bottom, and there's an insider's guide. Tells you exactly how we do overages, tells you all of our different programs. It's great to get. You can read right through it if you have any questions. But the main thing I wanted to get across to you right now is we are going to limit. Now I'm going to keep an eye on it too. We are going to limit how many we sell in the Florida overage program, $597. Normally don't sell it by itself. And the North Carolina program, $497. That's the North Carolina deed flip. We normally do not sell that by itself. And I can see we just got our first Florida. Everything's kind of delayed on my end, but our first Florida sign in. So as predicted, that's going to go really, really quick. So if you're interested in that, click on the offer. Guys, there's no rain checks. I'm sorry. I know people, often call me and say, what's going on? If you guys are taking notes, another thing you'll find on our surplusfundsriches.net site, a couple things. There should be a link to our Facebook account, and that Facebook account gives you a lot of information up front. Definitely follow and like the page. Same thing with, we have a Mr. Deed Flip, MR Deed Flip, also Surplus Funds Riches. Let's do that. Surplus Funds Riches, one word. Look that up on YouTube and you'll find our channel there. And that's just a phenomenal channel. I've loaded another 2 or 3 videos on this last week. I'm actually going to do something a little different. Typically, I go through product offerings and introduce the new folks to what we're doing because there's a lot of questions and kind of go into that at length. I'm going to actually open it up. Now, some of the stuff with guys that are already our members, you guys know you have support built in. What you guys get when you buy programs, you get an initial PDF, which is our ebook that has a link, depending on the program with a password, to resources page with video training, additional information, independent contractor agreement, everything you need. Support's included. It's email-based with Jeff. It's an online ticket-based system, email-based system. We also get invited to these webinars twice a month. So I'm not going to go in terms of support questions. I'm not pick and choose those. I may mention them, but I'll pick and choose the ones where you could have gotten up with Jeff and asked. But we're in a community, so I'm really going to encourage everybody to ask any and all questions, pre-purchase and post-purchase questions. Any program we got, fire away, and I am going to open up the chat. So that's it. We have now enabled chat. It's on private mode, so you're not going to be able to see what other people ask unless I'm covering the question, in which case usually what Jeff does is he jumps on. And by the way, Charlene, let's see here. As soon as this is over, we'll be sending out the new ebooks. And Sandra, you also were smart and popped on Florida. I'm not giving last names, guys, so I'm not giving anything away. But that's 2 down, guys. So if you're interested, click on that like and get rolling. Chat is now open. So I would appreciate any and all questions. I need you guys, should be able to see your chat. Fire away if you have any questions for us. Oh, good. Jeff also put the link there, not just on the offer link, but he put it in where you can click it and go check it out. Gwendolyn, hi. I'm so glad you asked me this question, Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn, hold on, getting a lot coming in really fast all of a sudden. There's a little delay. Rita here, do you think things are slowing down due to the mortgage moratorium? Will things pick up? I don't, Gwendolyn, and I'll tell you why. Remember, guys, it's a great question, okay? So first of all, the counties are more than compensating with tax sales right now. They are not even close to meeting their budget. Not even close, because they shut down during the pandemic prematurely, and courts have been slow to reopen. They're all open pretty much now, but they've been slow to open. So the counties are just cranking out right now because they've got to get their budgets back on track. They count on these tax deed sales for their budgets to make up for the folks that aren't paying their taxes. So that's huge. This is a great question. The other one is, though, for mortgages, understand, guys, it's not really a moratorium. I mean, it kind of is, but it was kicked. They did kick that can down the road through September. Remember that only applies to government-backed mortgages. Now, are a lot of the banks also following suit with that? Yes, they have been. They're losing patience. The majority of those guys actually got caught up. Maybe you didn't know that. We went from 2.7 million to just over 2 million in the last few months of people that are still in forbearance, and they're not sure that they're going to catch up. What we're going to see is a little mini wave, probably in September, October, a little mini wave of foreclosures from mortgages. They're going to start hitting because people are not going to be able to catch back up on their forbearance issues. You're going to see a mini wave with that. What you're also seeing is you're seeing inflation really kicking in hot and heavy. It's actually been kicking in for years. Just the the media isn't talking about it. It's been, you guys know, you know what's happening. You know what's happening when you go shopping at the store. You know what's happening if you go to pick up a 2x4. It's getting pretty nuts out there right now. So I do think that we're in the new norm for product pricing. Those of you guys in hot markets, which is 99.9% of you, we're in the new norm. We've got inflation. We've got the fact that new construction is so much more expensive to build. Resale always follows new construction, so resale's continuing to go up. We've got way low inventory, right? We cannot even come close to meet the demand. And the reason is because the mortgage rates are so daggone low, it's unbelievable. But we can't meet the demand. We just can't. I mean, last I checked, Mecklenburg County, where I live, North Carolina, had 18 days worth of inventory. The norm historically is 6 months. That's crazy. We're getting people going on the market. The only reason it's taken 18 days is typically it's taken a while for the agent to report it. Usually it's insane multiple offers done in a matter of days. The only reason they give it a couple of days is to get more offers in, and it's over. Okay. So that's a big deal. But no, I don't think things have slowed down at all, Rita. I don't. But I do think it's going to get even hotter near the end of the year, not only for the surplus funds, but for the flipping. And that's another reason we put the North Carolina system out there right now. That's going to really get hot. Sound is good. Awesome. I'm going to catch up, guys. I'm a little behind. Are foreclosed reverse mortgage surplus funds due the homeowner? Okay. I'm not understanding the question, Dave. In a reverse mortgage, okay, the mortgage company is paying out of the equity to the homeowner. So I've never heard of a reverse mortgage foreclosing. The owner isn't paying, the mortgage company is. It's a different animal altogether. Okay, Carmen B. I have a lot of your programs, but interested in flipping. What are the numbers criteria for property to partner? Okay, it's in the ebook, Carmen, but here's the deal. It's kind of a rolling number there. Bottom line is it's got to be worth more money, obviously, than all the debt against it. We've got a percentage on that. We typically go after stuff under, this is a great question. We typically go after stuff under 200 grand if we can help it, just because we can flip that a lot faster. And remember, we're buying it and then flipping it as is, where is really quick. I can tell you that in the tax sales, quite a bit of the property does not have additional debt. You still have to check that, obviously, but quite a bit of it doesn't. The reason I say that is, remember, guys, for the last 20 years, mortgages have, in most cases, required homeowners to not only pay the principal and interest, but also escrow in their payment, taxes, and homeowners insurance. So it's rare to go to a tax sale or to have an upcoming tax sale where there's additional debt. Now, can people go get a HELOC or whatever? They certainly can, right? They can go get an equity line on the property, but it's rare to find it. So it's really easy to find properties that are going to qualify, especially on the tax sale side, for our deed flipping programs. Get the North Carolina one if you haven't already, Carmen. $497 limited time. See where we're at with sales real quick. There's the best. Fantastic. The North Carolinas, guys, those are going to go quick as well, I'm sure, because people understand that's the highest converting deed flip state we have, bar none. So pick that up for $497, Carmen, if you get an opportunity. Otherwise, you'd have to get it with the best. T says, do you have to have experience or knowledge? Great. These are all good questions. Thank God. All right. So couple things with that, T. First of all, I actually have difficulty with certain kinds of people. And keep in mind, I'm allowed to say this. I'm a licensed broker in North Carolina. I find that real estate agents can be a pain in my butt because they think they know a lot more than they do. And I'm making fun of myself when I say that, right? But they do. They think they understand more than they actually do. So no, not a lot of experience or knowledge is necessary. You do have to be relatively savvy on the computer. You're going to have to look stuff up online. You're going to have to follow directions. You are going to have to read our ebooks. That's one of the problems we're finding is people will literally get our ebook and then go, hey, can you just kind of give me an overview? Or they'll skim through it. Read that thing. It's only, most of them are 50 pages or so. Read that. That's the overview, summary, and step by step. Read that. Read it. Don't call us and go, hey man, can you give me a summary? No, you're gonna have to read it. You have to take the hour to read that thing, and then watch the videos, and you should be set. Just take it step by step. But absolutely not, T. No experience or knowledge necessary, especially with the partnership programs, national surplus, national deed flip. I actually prefer training people from nothing. John, are there any states that are having regular sales? My God, John, there's a ton of them, tax and mortgage. Remember, if you're talking about overages, we do mortgage overages too. Those are happening every day. There's not even a schedule it's daily. So yeah, there's a ton of states that are having all the time sales. I know that there are some states that have infrequent sales. California's one. A lot of the counties only have them once a year for tax sales. But no, it's nonstop, John. Look around, you'll see it. There's a ton of sales happening. Umberto, I am very much into it, but I wonder what is the cost of the three sites to find people or get the info on them? Hey, that's a great question. Guys, first of all, National Surplus Funds Program. Your job, you can teach you how to do it completely on your own, or you can just research the debt and the ownership as it stood the day of the sale. Turn that into us, and we'll take it from there. Okay, we will go ahead and find the people, skip trace them, mail them, call them, do all that, put it under contract, hire the mobile notary, hire the attorney, and give you 8% of the gross amount being held by the court when we successfully get that out. Okay, if you wanted to use the Premier 16 program, that one, you get 16 instead of 8% of the gross amount held. You get 16% of the gross, but you also have to find them and have a warm conversation and then turn it into us to make sure it's the right person and they're willing to talk to us. Okay. So that's important to understand. Of course, if you're doing it on your own, you're going to want to have your own skip tracing, or if you're using our Premier 16 overage program, you're going to want to do skip tracing. It's not expensive. Worst case, you're going to spend maybe $1 per search looking for people. I actually recommend two right now, two sites that have been good to us. One is IDI Data, letter I, letter D, letter I Data. They're phenomenal at finding the claimant. The other one is Microbilt, MICROBILT, microbilt.com. In the book, we give you the name of the guy to contact, and he'll waive your startup fee, which is usually $100. And I think that the average search is between 60 and 80 cents. So it's really not expensive to do the searches. Will all notifications on files come from paperwork@surplusfundsriches.com email, Jack? No. The ones where there's an issue from the get-go when paperwork gets it, if there's an issue on the initial turn-in, that'll come from there. But it may also come from Goldmine Program Help at Gmail. You'll just don't filter your emails for a while, okay? That would be if Jeff underwrote it and had a problem with it and told you some things you needed to fix. Good question. How do you go about getting an attorneys, not just North Carolina, but nationwide? Okay, well, what I do have a separate attorney for Florida. But what I do is I have my central attorney in North Carolina, who I've known for some time, hire my attorneys in other states. The other attorneys listen to him a lot easier, and he can walk them through the process. And I pay my attorneys a lot of money, guys. I give 10% to the attorney that's actually doing the retrieval. I give a couple of percentage points with a minimum of $750 to my attorney here local. So everybody makes a little bit of money, and he farms it out. We get the power of attorney to him. He farms it out. Part of the power of attorney reads that he can hire other attorneys to help him do it. I don't have to call attorneys or find attorneys. It's a beautiful thing. Is it normal for counties to charge to receive access to deeds? Sean, only in a few counties. Georgia, I know, does it. The SSSCA or whatever it is, like $25 a month. Those are, by the way, are hot because everybody's scared to spend $1. So you've got like no competition down there doing that. Okay, Kenneth. Surplus is issued to John Doe. Deed is granted to Jane Doe. Jane Doe gave power of attorney to John Doe. Can I submit power of attorney document as backup for original deed? Kenneth, you're saying surplus is issued to John Doe. Deed is granted to Jane Doe. Jane Doe gave power of attorney to John Doe, but can I submit POA doc? Kenneth, read the way the file rules. on the particular program you're working, because that'll probably address that. Bottom line is whoever the deed's in, that's who I want to work. And typically the power of attorney, if there's a power of attorney for somebody else, it needs to actually read that it's real estate, and it needs to be on someone who's alive or be a durable power of attorney. Do me a favor on this one, Kenneth. I go by deed holder. I don't know what Jeff's going to do on this one because there are some different intricacies state to state. But do me a favor. That's a question for support, because I'm going to give you the wrong answer. Jeff handles that stuff. I handle the other stuff. Eric, I'm a public school teacher with 4 kids. What is your advice for starting with limited time? Eric, I would get, if you have the opportunity and it's still there, I would get the Florida program. It's on right now for $597. I'm checking to see how many buys. Yeah, we got 3 of those gone. 3 of the 5 already gone already. I would get the Florida program. It's the easiest one to work. You don't have to do anything during the day. You can do everything at night pretty much. Well, yeah, you can do everything for the night. And it's a lot faster to do the files because the title work's been done for you in the tax sales. And I would work both the deed flip and the surplus funds in Florida. Guys, the beauty of working a deed flip program in conjunction with working a surplus funds program is you turn it in as a deed flip. We try to get in touch with them. We're trying to buy it before the foreclosure. If it fails, or what usually happens is a lot of times they'll wait till it's 2 days out, right? And we're out of time. Okay. At that point, now it's too late. We're like, hey, we've at least had a conversation with them. We've also eliminated all the wrong addresses and phone numbers. When it sells at auction, you've already researched the debt. You're going to know if surplus is created. You can turn it as a surplus funds file to us, and we'll take it from there. And we're going to be the first ones in the door because we've eliminated the wrong numbers and the wrong addresses, and we've had conversations with them. So that's a big deal. So to answer your question, Eric, if you could get the best of the best, I get that and work Florida deed flip. That's $847. Florida deed flip and Florida remote or the overage program. If not, just pick up the Florida program right now tonight while it's here for $597, because we just don't, like I said, we offer that every other year, and then maybe on January 1st, and it's always just $5. How long does one deal take to get paid? T, from the time you turn it in, it's generally about 3 months. The reason it's going to take us a month to get in touch with the people, for them to get our mailings and our calls and actually respond, and for us to get a mobile notary in front of them, the contract signed, and get that back. We send a FedEx label to the mobile notary and they send it in to us. That's a month. It takes a month. Just people are hard to get a hold of and they finally return a call. This is average. At that point, our attorney's going to get on the docket. It's going to take a month to get in front of somebody, get on the docket and get in front of somebody, or even get somebody to review paperwork if it's a non-docket type state. When at that point it's granted, takes the county usually another month to send the check. So that's a big deal. Yorana. So how long does it take? There you go. Oh, from when the deal is executed till the final payout. Well, I just broke it down for you. So take out that first month. Once the deal's made, it'd be about 2 months after that point. Sherry, I'm sorry to hear that. If you can go to surplusfundsriches.net, okay, click on the products tab. You'll have to put your name and email in, scroll down, and read the overview of all of our programs. I understand you're not understanding me. That's fine. Fidel, I brought the program in March, but I don't have a computer printer. What should I do? Fidel, you can do it without it. You can submit the files by adding on the additional documentation we asked for after that title worksheet, and do it that way. Abe, please don't laugh. I'm hard of hearing. Any way I can get closed captioning. Never had anybody say that. Abe, sorry, no, turn it up. Okay. I'm not trying to make fun. What is the learning curve like and our average to do one deal. So T, if you're working as a researcher, at first it'll take you 30 to 40 minutes to research a file. After you've done 3 to 5, it should take you 15 minutes. Tanya, if I buy your program, do I only get ebooks and videos, or is there real training with someone going through the materials with us and guidance for best plan of attack? Tanya, we sell our programs. One program by itself is $497. The reason we do that, we're able to be that instead of $1,500 like the competition. And by the way, they don't give you personal mentoring either, is we make the majority of our money on the back end. No, nobody's going to hold your hand. It's an ebook that's step-by-step, an overview and a summary that's very good. It has a link to video training. Support is included, which is Jeff, my right-hand man. Jeff will actually get back usually within 1 business day. He has more than that, especially with his holidays, but he usually gets back in that time period. You're also invited to these live question and answer webinars twice a month. That's a lot. Yes, that's what you get. What computer skills are needed to process for a deal start to finish? T, you just have to be able to do searches like we teach you to find the Register of Deeds departments, to find the list, that type of thing. It's not crazy hard. Okay, so Lenise says, I came in late. I didn't realize it was 8:30. Central time. I don't know. It's Eastern is what we're. Anyway, I'm in. Okay. What is the? No, we started Easter time, Lenise. What is the program being offered? I'm trying to save up to get Sean's program for $847. That's still going to be here, Lenise. That's one of the programs that's offered. There's also a Florida, which is the easiest surplus funds program we have, for $597. Click the link. Right. There should be an offer where you can click the button. There's one of that's $597. There's also the North Carolina Flip program for $497. Yes, I do realize the best will be here later if you don't have the money right now, Lenise. But the Florida and the North Carolina are going to be gone here in minutes. So let's see where we're at. Hi, Sean. I hear this a lot, by the way. I purchased Florida Remote, but I have not used it. I bought it a while ago. Life kind of got in the way. Can I still use the program, or is there a limit to the number of persons that can use it at this time? No, John, if you bought the program, use it. Yvette, what are some other good deed flip states other than North Carolina? Well, Florida, obviously, Yvette. But anything you could find right now, for some reason, there's a certain state I'm getting a ton in, but because it's from a new researcher doing a deed flip, I'm not going to give away his honey hole, so to speak. The Southeast tends to be really good. Southeast tends to work extremely well for us. Georgia, North and South Carolina, Florida, parts of Virginia. It's a Commonwealth state, so it's a little trickier to get some of the info that you want to get. Those are the strongest states, I'd say, the Southeast, just because it's really easy for you to get lists. They don't screw around and waste time, and they're doing a lot of them. Florida, by the way, Texas is a little harder. Texas is kind of wacky. As far as Tennessee, I just won't do Memphis. I'll do the rest of it, but not Memphis. But Tennessee's great. It's really easy to get through their systems, and I have no problem working other areas, Knoxville, good Lord, any other, just not Memphis. There was a nightmare in Memphis before. I'd probably do some deals in Maryland. But part of the reason I like the Southeast guys is you can also find cheaper property, and the cheaper the property, the easier it is to flip fast, and the more likely that it is that the owner's not going to come up with money to pay off their taxes if it's a tax sale, right? If it's $250,000, the guy's going to figure out a way to pay his 10 grand in taxes and keep that house. If it's a $120,000 house that's actually worth 80 because it's all janked up, and we can pick it up for 40, we find those all day. On the national, how many deals can you do weekly? As many as you want to turn in, T. We're covered on that. Jack, if a person is deceased on a Florida deed flip file, but the court names a personal rep or names an administrator, can I submit or resubmit the file? Jack, that's a question for support. Yeah, I think we outlined what we'll take on that, but sorry, man, that's a support question. Remember, guys, I've got a really good knowledge of the programs we have, obviously, because we beta tested them, Jeff and I, together. But over time, the way that we handle the files turned in, that has evolved. And Jeff handles the underwriting the files and the support. So I'm not going to step on his toes. That's a support question. It's too in-depth. Can I give cash for keys and let it foreclose and collect the overage raw? You have no idea. I'm glad you asked. I'm not making fun of you. But listen, there's not always an overage. You can't just buy a property. You can, but it's not going to work. You can't just buy a property and then sit back and go, I know there's going to be an overage, and collect the overage later. Buy a property, record the deed, and get the overage later. Now, it doesn't work that way. If you're working overages, wait till the overage is created. If you want to work at pre-sale, then buy it before the sale. Buy it before the auction hits, and work it that way. But trying to combine them is extremely risky. It's all guesswork. It's all guesswork. Also, in certain states, the person on the list pendens, well, in one state, Florida, the person that's on the list pendens and a mortgage foreclosure is the one that's entitled, not necessarily the deed holder. It's weird. Okay. That's on our Florida program. All that's explained. But Ra, I like where you went with that. Not a smart move. You're going to lose money, and it's way too risky. John. Hey, John. Okay, guys. So let me answer a question that's great. So first of all, when you turn in a file, one of two things is going to happen. Either it's going to show up on our list. You have access to our accepted file list, so you'll see it there, and you'll know, aha, it's on the accepted files list. They accepted it. And of course, before you research any file, you're going to take the case names off the list you got, check our accepted files list, make sure we don't already have them so you don't waste any time. Started doing that a couple of years ago. Everybody loves it. We're very transparent and upfront. There's no opportunity for anybody to think I'm screwing them over and stealing a file because you know before you even turned in if we've got it or not. Okay, and I completely understand that. So as far as if there's an issue, Jeff will also get back to you. So it'll either show up on the list or Jeff will go back and go, hey, here's the issue we have with that file. Turn in, please fix this and take care of it. Once you've turned in 3 correctly, turn in 1 at a time, not until we put a deal, just 1 at a time till they're accepted, boom, boom, boom. And we see that have been accepted, then you can turn in however many you want. We started doing that because people would turn in 10 files at a time. There'd be a little problem with each one of them. They get discouraged and go away when Jeff said, hey, just fix this item and we could take it. So as far as status keeping going, when it gets under contract, I'm going to contact you and I'll let you know. But as far as checking status, once you've hit 20 deals turned in, you can also have monthly requests on updates on your overage files. Deed flips, not so much. Deed flips self-expire, right? There's going to be an auction date. It either worked or it didn't. But when we're talking about overages, there is a set system for requesting in-depth overviews. And I'm going to call you if we get under contract, or I'll email you. But there's a set system for that you got to follow. And the reason we set it at a minimum of 20 files turned in and have a recent file turned in is we don't want people to turn in 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever, and then just keep one and not work anymore. And I get it. People go, I'm going to see if I get paid on this. Well, look, you got to work through more than that. You got to keep your pipeline full and you got to work them. So at 20, that's kind of an added benefit. We didn't want to have to sit down and give monthly reports to folks who had only turned 3 to 5 in. Okay, Emily says this is for Fidel. Public libraries have computers and they also have printers. You will have to pay for printing, but it's very inexpensive. Emily, I like that. Just keep in mind, guys, you really need to have your own equipment, okay? Especially with right now, I'm not making fun of anybody, I swear to you. Right now, I mean, you can get a combination printer, scanner for what, $50 at Costco? I mean, seriously, or Best Buy or whatever, online and Amazon, you can get one that'll work just fine for really cheap. The reason I bring that up also, okay, and thank you, Emily, for sharing that. That was nice of you to do that. You didn't have to do that. But the other reason why I bring that up is libraries a lot of times block what you can access, and you'd be amazed what they block. It's not just bad stuff that you would typically consider to be bad, but I've seen them block county information sites and other bizarre stuff, and you have no idea why, and you can't get around it. So if you're going to be using their printer, you're going to be using, I I would highly recommend you guys not using a public library if you can help it. Hey, Sean, can I use a 6-year-old laptop for these programs? Mark, yes. In fact, listen to me carefully, guys. So one of the questions we get is people go, hey, man, I've got a computer and I want to use it this way, and I'm going to get things rolling. And what do you think about this, that, or the other? The majority of these counties update these websites like every 10 years. And people do say, oh, hey, why don't you give us direct links to lists? First of all, then 10 people would be hitting that list. We teach you how to get a list. This way you can get whatever list you want. You can work the one you want. You don't have to work local, obviously. But I'm joking because a 6-year laptop is fine. I have one that my backup laptop is actually 8 years old. It's an old Toshiba Satellite. Works great. It's going to be fine. The vast majority. What's more important is that your browser is updated. The vast majority of these sites are old, clunky sites. You're not going to have an issue with that one. You're not going to have some kind of crazy JavaScript problem or anything like that. When researching debt for national deed flip and I run into a dangerous building notice, should I walk away from the file? Dangerous building notice. I like danger. Why don't you bounce that one off of Jeff for support, Eric? Because I'm going to give you the wrong answer. And Jeff's going to be yelling at his computer at his house. What states don't you like to work in and what makes them so difficult? Awesome. What states don't you like to work in? And here, Jeff just threw that up there from Eric, just so you guys know what I kind of. Urena, what states don't you like to work in and what makes them so difficult? We do not take files, Urena, and by the way, you can work in other states. You don't have to be in your state, working on your own or as a researcher, however you want to work it. The states I don't like to work are Oregon, Washington State, and Colorado. In fact, we won't take files from them. Florida's a separate deal. It's easy to work, but it's a separate program for us. And that's why it's so awesome that it's offered for $5.97 tonight, because you normally have to get it only in a bundle, and that starts at $8.47. But what else do I not like? I don't particularly care for Texas. You can't get mortgage overages. The tax overages are a little difficult, and I'm finding that the counties are being difficult to work with. I'll still work it. Those of you guys that have turned in Texas files, don't freak out. We're going to work them. I don't like it. The other state I don't like is we're actually getting reports. I think they're called a referee report. Maybe Jeff could help me with that. But it's in New York where we're seeing numbers and things are getting really hinky where the money's disappearing. We had a recent deal where we had the mortgage overage number. Attorney went to go get it and said that the Social Security guys, I'm sorry, was it Social Security? I think it was not Social Security. It was Health and Human Services claimed the money. So I don't know if there was some crazy amount of back due child support or what that was about, but that kind of disappeared overnight. This is another reason why I love having attorneys check stuff before I send out that first check. I purchased the national surplus a few years ago. Has the program changed much? Do I need to upgrade to a newer version? No, Tanya. Any upgrades or changes we make to our books are available on the linked resources page. That's the beauty of the ebook. That way we don't have to redo the book and send it out, right? Because the updates are right there on the resources page, and that's not going to change. We'll change that as it's needed. We don't need to change the book. And not a whole lot of changes are made. We beta test the snot out of the stuff before we launch it. Paul, are there any upcoming surplus commissions coming to research, particularly in Florida? I've actually got 4 more, Paul, that I'm going to be announcing soon, and I'll be getting in touch with people. There's a lot of stuff coming to researchers. Big shout out to Mike V. You are tearing it up. You guys might have seen his testimonial. I think his 15-year-old son is actually doing a lot of the work. I don't have a problem with father-son or father-daughter or husband-wife, whatever. I don't have a problem with that kind of stuff. As long as it's turned in on one name and one email address is used and one researcher's name on that paperwork, I don't care. As long as I'm not paying a bunch of people and training a bunch of people, I'm good. And they are tearing the snot out of it right now. Congrats to Mike V. Let's see, what else we got here? How do you feel about Michigan, greedy state? That's actually, Rob, that's a really good point about Michigan. A lot of you guys don't know what happened recently. Up till recently, Michigan would, and still right now, will not return tax overages for the owners. There was a huge court case in Michigan. The state lost the case. They were saying that you were using the money for community redevelopment, which was BS. It was a ripoff, right? They were basically taking it and spending it on whatever the heck they wanted. And they lost the court case. So Michigan's supposed to be opening up tax sale overages soon. They were already doing mortgage, it is my belief, mortgage overages, and it's difficult, but you can get that list. You say it's a greedy state. I would agree with you. Taking the money straight out of a tax, an overage deal off a tax state, that's greed. Although I got to tell you something, guys. There's differences not only between states, but between counties within the states. I had a conversation with a young lady. I'm not trying to go, we're almost caught up, thank goodness. I had a conversation with a young lady in a county in Pennsylvania, and I was following up this when we first started. I was just kind of feeling out what people had. And by the way, we don't compete with you. The only deals we work are the ones sent in by our researchers. You don't have to worry about us competing with you. But I got in touch with this lady in Pennsylvania, and I said, I need your tax sale overages. She said, why? I said, look, I'm doing research. She said, okay, well, what, would you want to give the money back to people? I said, I don't know. I'll go down that road when I figure it out. Yeah, maybe. It's public information. Is that okay? She goes, sure. She goes, but I don't believe people should get the money back. I said, what? She said, they didn't pay their taxes. I said, you don't think taking the house away was enough punishment? You also get to keep the money that's left over. I'll get you that, Liz. Thank you, ma'am. Now, guys, let me stop everybody there that just got emboldened and thinks they're going to John Wayne it and be kind of a turkey like that and kind of push people around and say it's Freedom of Information Act and all that crap. Stop. In general, be nice. I was in a mood that day. Couldn't let that crap slip. But I just couldn't. But generally let it go. Be nice. Have your hat in your hand. Be respectful, and they'll come around. They know they have to give you that stuff. Sometimes they need a little bit of time. You going John Wayne and yelling and screaming and throwing stuff around isn't going to help you. How many submissions? I don't understand your question, Shirley. How many submissions CA? And then how do you let us know that the submission of the files have been approved? Okay, Charlene, one of two things happens after you submit a file. First of all, you can submit up one at a time till we've accepted 3. Then you can submit however many you want. That way, you learn as you go. You don't turn in 10 files that are all wrong and you get disappointed. One at a time till we've accepted 3. Okay. The way you know that it's accepted, you have access to our accepted files list, so you'll see it pop up on that accepted files list. That's how you know if it's accepted. If there was an issue, Jeff will get back to you and let you know there was an issue. Okay, so we're about out, guys. We've got maybe one more in Florida. Looks like one more in Florida and one more in North Carolina. It looks like you guys are popping. Probably a lot of you guys were on the fence and thinking about it and popping on that best. And that's good because that's way underpriced. And the only thing keeping the best at $847, it's good Lord, it's $2,700 for the program. The only thing keeping it that low is Jeff. I want to go to $947 on that program. On that deal. Oh, what a good question. Do you find greater success in the bigger cities or the rural county areas? Eric, look, when you get into the rural areas, you get smaller lists, right? Because it's smaller population density. There's a lot of nuggets in there. I got to tell you guys, everybody's going after these huge metro statistical areas thinking that's the only way to go. That's ridiculous. That is not the only way to go. Some of the smaller ones are great to go after too. Jeff and I, by the way, recently looked up county populations, and we were looking for how many had, and Jeff, you can certainly correct me. I think I've got it listed here, but we were looking at 50,000, I believe. Let me take a look here. I've actually got this perfect timing for me to quickly do this, guys. Give you an idea of what kind of populations we have, because I was actually kind of amazed that it was as high as it was. All right. Counties over 50,000 people. That's plenty of people to start looking for overages. 981. And that's just the ones over 50. Now listen to this. 137 counties. Guys, there's over 3,000 counties in the United States, right? 50,000 is, I would even go to smaller counties than that, but 50,000, there's 981 of them. There's 137 counties over 100,000 people, and there are 45 counties over 1 million people. Yeah, there is opportunity. And no, I wouldn't just go after large metro statistical areas. Will you accept properties that are former meth labs? The caveat being that the property is located in an area that is a hot selling market. John, if I know about it in advance that it's a meth lab, I'm probably not going to pick it up. And I'll tell you why. This comes from me being a licensed broker, real estate broker in North Carolina since 1993. I can tell you right now, if somebody else knows it's an old meth lab, if they find out, depending on the area, even if it's not market, if they find out first of all, it's a meth lab, I don't want it. It's dangerous for people to live there. Even if I'm just flipping it as is, where is, I have no representations. I don't want to be a part of that because someone can get hurt just from living in there. So I'm not going to want it. I'm not going to want a meth lab house. Now, have I probably picked up property where they've done different stuff in it, meth, whatever? Probably. But a meth lab, hell no, I don't want it. I think that's a problem. And the other thing is, if the county does find out about it, first of all, I don't want to touch it. But even if I did want to touch it, they can generally, not only the local and state level, but the feds can seize that property. They can also condemn it, and you're going to have to demo the whole damn thing. So you don't even have a shell. You can't get that stuff out of the floors and the ceilings and the walls, John. Good question, but I don't want to touch that, man. I don't want to be a part of that. T, thank you for your answers, Mikkel. How long is the payout for deed flip 30? It's generally anywhere from 2 to 3 months. Mikkel, it depends. If the owner is living in the property and they need an extra month to get out, it's going to take a little extra time because I've got to let them stay there for a month before I give them their final payment. I'm giving cash for keys. I'm certainly not going to give them all the money up front and then say you can stay in the house. They'll never leave. But on top of that, I'll get you yours, Dingler. But the payout for deed flip 30. On top of that, okay, it's about a month to sell it at that point. So about 2 months usually, right? If I give them a month to stay in there. Dingler, you don't like Philly. You're absolutely right. I don't like Philadelphia, city of brotherly love, my butt, especially for deed flips. Now, surplus, if you want to turn in, awesome. Deed flip, no thank you. We stopped working deed flips in Philadelphia because I'm not kidding you. I was putting a ton of deals together, and every time I put a deal together, they got, no, wait a minute. You're going to resell this? Well, yeah. What do you care? We already came to agreement on what to buy for. Well, you're going to make money, right? Sure. Well, forget it. I don't want you to make money. I don't want to do the deal if you're going to make money. Are you kidding me? What do you care? You agreed to a dollar amount. You get what you want. I get the house. Of course I'm going to make a profit. Why do you think? How am I coming up with the money to magically call you and make you an offer? I have to make profit to keep rolling and pay my crew. No, I don't want to do it then. Bye-bye. I don't work Philly. What's the program that pairs with the national and 8% again? Okay, T, get the best of the best. Click on this link, get the best of the best. You'll be done. But another thing that Jeff and I were talking about earlier today, you can also go straight to the website because the link that we're offering here is just to our webinar specials, right? Another deal that is stupid good is, what is the Power Play? National Deed Flip and Deed Flip 30, National Surplus and Premier 16 Surplus. For, what is it, Jeff? $797, $697? Good Lord, I think it's $697. It's stupid cheap. Stupid cheap, $2,000 with programs. You can get that on the main products page at surplusfundsriches.net. You click on products and you'll go right to it. Do I have to look at your old videos to know how to search a file for mortgages overages? Forget what it's called. You mean how to search a file for debt, Altagracia? You've got a link from your ebook straight to a reference page, a resources page if you already bought. And those are videos that are unlisted. They're not online. All my training videos are unlisted, but those are on your resources page. And no, read the ebook at least once. I would recommend it twice because then you get the lingo down. So if you do need to use support for anything, you won't be going, hey, that deed thingy. You'll know what you're talking about with Jeff, and he'll be able to provide you with a good answer. And we get that a lot. People go, I don't want to read it. Read the book, guys. It's not long. And then watch those videos and you'll be good. How long is the payout for deed flip 30? Yeah, I just answered. Hello, sir. I purchased the program in 2012. How can I get access to my program? Is there someone who could help me? I want to start this again. Thank you, my friend. Mark, in 2012, the overage program we had required that you actually went inside of the courthouse. We replaced that with the National Surplus Funds Program in 2014. If you don't have that, you're going to need to buy that because this allows you to work all over the country and do everything from home online. So you're going to have to buy that again, brother. Surplusfundsriches.net. Click on products. It's $4.97 for National Surplus Funds. What's the smallest population size do you go after? Yvette, here's the deal. I tell people to search for lists. I don't tell them to look by county necessarily. Just get whatever list you can and work that. You want a number 10,000. You know, I mean, if you want to set something there. Hey, Sean, can we use Microsoft and Apple Mac systems? Yeah, I mean, everything's in PDF and Word format, and you shouldn't have an issue online with the registered deeds departments. Mark Walker, do you like Maryland? I most certainly do. Not as much for the deed flip side. And when I say that, I like the majority of Maryland for deed flipping, for flipping property. I don't care for Baltimore City. I think it's going to just continue to get worse. And listen, I grew up in Woodbridge, Virginia, Mark. Okay. We used to go to DC all the time. I've been to Baltimore. I've been to the aquarium up there 20 times in my life. You know, used to go all the time as a kid. Used to love Baltimore. Right now, it scares the crap out of me as far as flipping property. I just don't know what to think with what's going on up there. They've lost control of their city. I'm not making a political statement. I just think that Baltimore's rough. The rest of it, don't get me wrong, I'd still flip. It's just the conversion rate is going to be a little bit lower in Baltimore because I'm going to be a lot more careful in Baltimore. Okay. The outlying areas, particularly the rural areas or the suburban areas outside of that, are so beautiful and they're awesome. And I'd work those all day long, Mark. I hope that's answered your question. It looks like we've come to the end. I can tell you right now, if we're not done with Florida, we're about to be done. I think we're really close. So if you've got the link in front of you, click that. Get Florida or get the NC Flipmaster. We don't offer this by themselves other than now, right? Or the best of the best. Guys, if you have questions, you're welcome to call me on my directly on my cell phone, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or Eastern Time, I should say, Eastern Time, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday, unless it's a holiday, at 704-791-9398. If you didn't get that number, no problem. Go ahead and go to surplusfundsriches.net. It's right there available for you. This is my live question and answer cell phone that comes directly to me. Now look, 9 o'clock turns around. I got do not disturb on. I don't care who you are, unless you're a family member, then you'll get through. Everyone else won't. And I really appreciate 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday, non-holidays. 704-791-9398. Jeff just put up the link, guys. The special, again, the specials that we're having, surplusfundsriches.net/webinars. I don't know how much longer that's going to be up. I appreciate you taking a look. Call me with any questions. Everything's guaranteed for 24 hours whenever you see a price, except for these. These are webinar specials, but on our normal pricing page or products page, it's usually guaranteed for that day, just so that we've got the opportunity to go up when we want to. Awesome webinar, incredible questions. Thanks, guys. I hope everybody has a great night.